Hello, good afternoon, and welcome. We are live with Podcone, the first episode of the Falcone Podcast. My name is Dan Falcone. I will be your host, and joining me are my wonderful guests. We have, firstly, to my right, who are you? BirdKeeperToby? Hello?
Hello.
Who are you?
Hi. I'm sorry. I don't know that I'm on your right. I shut it down. Hello, everyone. I'm BirdKeeperToby. I make Pokemon stuff. You may be familiar, and if not, I hate you.
Ooh, strong words. Strong words. All right, and as well as Toby, we have underneath me on screen, we have TheLastShaymin. Would you like to introduce yourself?
That's me! Hi, I'm TheLastShaymin, or Phoebe, and I do drawings of Pokemon stuff, and I stream sometimes. Hi.
And lastly, a huge blown-up cartoon image we have underneath Toby. Who are you? Who's my last guest?
Hi, my name's GarbageEGirl, also known as Carly. I stream mediocre gameplay.
Stream mediocre gameplay. What a ringing endorsement over there.
That's all that needs to be said, really.
Seems like a good bunch you've got today.
Well, this is the first episode of Podcone. So for those of you watching live, thank you for tuning in. We're live on twitch.tv/Falcone hosts. But for those of you not watching live, you can catch the broadcast live there. I'm hoping that this is going to be out on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and all of the other places where you can usually find podcasts. But if you want to watch live, there will be a little Just Chatting segment after the stream where we'll be interacting with Twitch chat and talking to you guys about today's topics. But here we go. We've got a few things to get through. And the first thing I want to talk about, I think it makes sense to start with this. It's the big news of the week. Pokemon Isle of Armor came out just 2 days ago. Who's been playing it?
Oh,
We have been. You have been. We have been. I've seen you play it on the television.
So Toby's been playing it. Carly, you've been watching it? Or have you been...
Oh, I've been playing it.
Yeah, we've both been playing it. We've been playing it in very different ways, though. Because I've been playing it, obviously, for work, for the Pokemon thing. So I played it live on stream and kind of shared that first experience of playing it with kind of how you are as well at the moment, Dan. Whereas Phoebe got to play it in a more relaxed, casual way, and so I'd kind of wander into the room between streaming and see Phoebe on the big screen, just chilling out, enjoying it the way it's meant to be enjoyed, and I'm very envious, actually.
Right. And I think we had a little bit of lag there on stream. Hopefully that'll be fine in the in post. But Carly, have you been playing it? Have you been watching it, or what have you been?
So I've just been watching it. I wasn't sure if I was going to go ahead and play it myself, but I think it was 45 minutes into Toby's stream. I was very hyped up, and I was like, all right, got to stop watching now. Got to play. So I am getting around to it. But I haven't started yet, but you've inspired me. I'm going to go for it.
Oh.
Now, I know that people are being very careful about spoilers. I had a quick glance at Twitch chat there. I was like, no spoilers, please. So we're going to try and talk about this without spoiling it. And that's going to be difficult because people are very precious about spoilers, I've noticed. Like, just when I started the quest, people, like, somebody would say, oh, you have to do this to evolve this Pokemon. And my Twitch chat, like, no, spoilers, stop. So people are very precious about that kind of... I don't know if you found that on your stream, Toby.
I don't know how much can be spoiled, right? Because there wasn't a lot of it in the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you think a spoiler is, because there's so much to Pokemon that, like, I mean, you could think that a way to evolve a Pokemon would be a spoiler, or, like, story beats, or just, like, who's going to be in the next gym could be a spoiler, but, like, I guess that differs between people. Like, there's a lot of potential.
Sure. And if you're someone like yourself, Dan, you don't follow the trailers, you don't follow the news as it's coming up in terms of, like, Pokemon content, whereas, obviously, I see the moment something's announced, seconds have passed, and I'm, like, dissecting it and analysing it. And so, to you, what is a spoiler? To me, are things that I've seen, like, advertised a million times over, and I've kind of broken down and gone, oh, that probably follows that, and that's probably to do with that Pokemon, and so you kind of end up in in that zone where spoilers mean different things to different people playing, but always try to, kind of ask people, hey, do you mind if I mention this, if I say this,
But, like, somebody would say, and I don't consider this next thing a spoiler, and I apologize to anyone that does, but somebody would say to my chat, like, hey, Dan, which tower are you on? Just that. Simple as that.
That's not.
And other people in my chat are like, oh, spoilers, there are towers. And it's like, my opinion is just calm down a bit, guys.
Just look around, they're huge. Like, you've definitely walked past
there
them.
are, on the Isle of Armor, sorry, spoilers, 2 giant towers. And they are very heavily featured on the island. It's like, that one or that one, choose. You know, that kind of thing.
But the main topic, I guess, to talk about here is what do we think of it? I want to start with Carly, actually, because you said that you've sort of been watching it, and now watching it made you want to play. What is it that you kind of liked about what you saw?
Okay, so about the expansion specifically, it's basically Toby's energy. It really sucked me in, but it was when he was cycling around and going, oh my god, all games in the future should be just like this, exploring. Like, exploring is huge to me in games. So seeing that in a Pokemon game, I was like, I'm in, I'm down.
So it was the exploring part of it that you're into.
I'm so into it.
I think we can probably all agree that was one of its highlights. What do you think, Phoebe? What really stuck out to you about this expansion?
I mean, again, the exploring stuff, like, just because when I got into the new expansion bit, I immediately ignored the story and just decided to go for a bit of a cycle, and I got completely lost in the forest and just seeing, like, I didn't know where I was. There was Pokemon who I didn't know were in the game in front of me, and it was so exciting. And the story was cute. I really liked the characters. I got to love the new. Am I allowed to talk about Kubfu?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
I think we can talk about Kubfu's pretty well known. Yeah, I really enjoyed that whole Kubfu thing. I got like with Zacian and Zamazenta from the main story, I didn't really bond with it. I just kind of have this dog in my PC that I've used for a couple of big raids. But like with Kubfu, I actually feel like it's my mon. I love him. He's my son. I really liked it.
Okay, and Toby, lastly, so you've obviously you stormed through it.
Yeah.
And obviously at first, as you always are when you first play Pokemon game, you're just giddy. Have you had any time to sort of think about it, and how has your opinion sort of formed over the last few days?
You know, I mean, I get that because I'm a big Pokemon fan, so I get that rush, that excitement the first time I play, and it has, you know, as it's kind of settled over the last 2 days, watching you play it, listening to any like critiques you've had, listening to any critiques that other YouTubers have had, and going, okay, do I see that? Do I agree with that? Where does this work? What does it not? I think exploring is great, but, and you know, this might come from the fact that I've spent maybe 10 to 12 hours playing it. It's more than it's probably it intends for you to play in one chunk, but I'm like, okay, now I want more. The island's not big enough. I want even more. I want even more and even more. And yeah, ideally I'd like a whole Pokemon game like that. I think they did a really good job creating just some really interesting biomes. There's a forest, there's a wetlands, there's a desert area. There's all these different feels and moods. And like Phoebe said, the first thing, usually I'll like pursue through the story, find out what's what. The first thing I wanted to do was, whoa, there's a giant whale lord over there. That's the first thing I'm checking out. I'm going over to that. Nice. Oh, wow, there's an island there. Let's check that out. There's a tower there. Let's check that out. And it's nice because this feels like the first time in a long time, perhaps if ever, that Pokemon just said, go. Have fun. You know, and that was nice. That was good.
I think it's hard not to jump into this expansion, get to the Isle of Armor, and just sort of look around and be like, whoa. And I did the same thing as Phoebe. First thing I did was just, okay, story's that way. I want to go see what's over there. I want to see how much of the island I could get to. And yeah, there's something very cool about that, the fact that you can just explore the whole island immediately. And I feel like it's a big step in the right direction compared to the wild area from the main game. Now I'm going to come in with the but.
Yeah.
Which is that I think they need to do a better job in the future of mixing this style of gameplay with more traditional gameplay. Because while the freedom is cool, I missed going around and having to battle trainers. I missed that aspect of it. I missed that kind of thing. And I feel like, whereas Toby, you're saying, yeah, I want a whole game of this. I feel, and this is the most critical I'm going to be of it. And if there's partly playing devil's advocate and partly, I want to encourage the counter arguments here. But I felt like, and I was saying this on stream earlier, I felt like a lot of it was going around and there was just sparks all over the ground and Pokeballs all over the ground. I felt like, go here, pick up item, da 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 da, pick up item, da 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 da. And that feels like that's sort of most of the gameplay for me. It's sparkly item, Diglett on the ground, sparkly item. And I want more like gameplay.
Yes.
The exploration is great, but like Pokemon actual trainer battles are so few and far between. I haven't finished yet. I actually haven't even gotten to the first tower. So stop me if I'm being a little bit preemptive.
No, you're right.
But I'd love to, if they extend the game and make it a full game, I want to see a better mix with this and more traditional gameplay.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I think Pokemon has all the tools to merge those things in a really good way, and the execution just hasn't quite been worked out yet. When exploring the island, there's no... Yes, it's all very, very super explorable, and there's lots of winding paths, and you're like, oh great, I can enter this route, this area from here, or from here, or from here. Nothing's locked off. Nothing's super hard to access. There's no challenges that kind of... like additional challenges outside of there's a Diglett hunt, but there's no kind of like, oh, but if you beat this super strong Pokemon, you get access to this super cool hidden area or whatever, or there's some legendary Pokemon hidden in the island that you've got to solve some puzzle to get to. There's none of that. And yeah, I think just getting some more of those traditional gameplay elements, battling legendary Pokemon, puzzle solving, that kind of stuff, would take this to the next level, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just that, but a lot of the people going into this game will have played Sword and Shield for a good amount of time and will have a team that's like at least in their 80s, and to still have to be battling 60s to like 70s for most of it is a bit... It's not
That's actually my second major criticism that I was going to bring up. You've actually very elegantly brought me into that. Is that, and I was saying this before the DLC came out, like I don't understand how this is going to work. There's been several months since the game came out. People completed the game months ago. They're going to have been training their Pokemon. They're going to have capped out level 100s at a bunch of Pokemon. Like, how is the DLC going to work? And there was this idea of level scaling that a lot of people were talking about going into this. And it almost seemed to me, going through various Twitch streams and stuff, like this was a fact that we knew was going to happen. Level scaling.
There was a... I had a little listen about this morning. There was a preview earlier this week that some news outlets got to kind of go to. And I think someone asked the question, is there like level scaling? And maybe they got an answer in the affirmative, or they misunderstood that answer, or whatever. I'm not quite sure what happened, but it did get...
I need to fact check this.
Okay.
Because this is only something I heard on Twitch today. Apparently the levels scale to your gym badges. With the max being level 60.
Don't know if that's true. But
that's something I
might
heard,
be
so
wrong.
I don't know.
I think it does in the base game, because, I mean, when... With the wild area, like... Originally everything's lower level, and then everything is 60 once you finish the game. But everything in the new wild area is also level 60, so I think the same rule applies as before.
Yeah. But my issue with the level thing specifically is that I wanted to go in and make it a challenge again. And if I continued using my own team, I felt like it was going to be too easy. So I brought up a new team, gave them candies, and got everything to around level 60, assuming, they're wild Pokemon level 60. And then I got into my first real battle, it's like, oh, your Pokemon level 68. So like I found, even though I was trying to go out of my way to make it a fair challenge for myself, I couldn't quite get my Pokemon to the right level. And that, I feel like that shouldn't be a difficult thing to do. I feel like if you want to play it at the level that you're supposed to be, there should be a way of doing that without the game making that process difficult. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
I'm surprised scaling's not in the game at all.
Yeah, it is surprising. It feels like quite a modern thing. But I know a lot of like MMOs use level scaling nowadays.
That's what I'm used to, yeah.
I mean, there's that one, the Warlord in the wild area is level 80. Like, I mean, they could have done it. They just seem to have not. Did we all
battle the Warlord then? Toby, you said it was the first thing you did.
Yeah, it's like the first thing I did. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
I was baited into it. And I had some people telling me it's level 80 and other people saying, no, it's only level 60, do it. And I had my level 62 or something Magnezone. And I battled it with the intention of catching it. And I accidentally one-shot it with Zap Cannon.
Oh no! Okay.
So there goes the Warlord.
I will say, I'm not to. I mean, again, I'm going to try to not spoil. There is a event that happens about halfway through the DLC that a new feature becomes available, and it was single-handedly the most excited I've been about playing, modern Pokemon. because I was just like, oh, this is amazing, this is so cool, and it's just a
very
small
hard
thing.
to talk about this without spoiling, but then
No.
I would say, but then why isn't that already in the game?
Why isn't it already in the game? Exactly. I do think that the Isle of... I felt that over the last few years, Pokemon, I think it really peaked in, like, the Black and White 2 era. And X and Y experience share stuff, I won't go through the whole history, but, you know, I think it's kind of struggled to find its footing a little bit. And I've seen Sword and Shield as a step in the right direction, and then the Isle of Armor as another step in the right direction.
Agreed.
And, you know, it's not the ultimate Pokemon experience I dream of. It's a good Pokemon experience. I really, really like it. And I like it more than the games of even the last 5 to 6 years. But... yeah, still ways to go, and yeah, I'd like to see these things not be part of a DLC, but be part of the main experience next time.
Now, in addition to the DLC, there was obviously the announcement just before it came out, and I actually played Pokemon Smile last night. I had a go.
I saw.
And I sent Toby a screenshot that I took while playing it. And I'm not sure whether or not to tweet that screenshot.
Oh,
Please.
absolutely.
Please do it.
I was going to do
You think
something
I should tweet
similar.
it?
Oh, yeah.
All right. After the podcast, I'm going to tweet the screenshot of me playing Pokemon C. But it told me that I didn't brush very well, and therefore didn't catch any Pokemon.
Savage.
But I think it's because I use an electric toothbrush, and the game really wanted me to brush in a specific way. And I don't think it liked my electric toothbrush. I think that's the... I did send the picture on Discord. I did send the photo on Discord, but I think I might tweet it. Was there anything else from this announcement you guys were particularly excited about?
I mean, Smile was a weird way to start when, like, Pokemon Snap... New Pokemon Snap was like next up on the docket.
You're forgetting about the cafe game. Sure.
Yeah,
Oh, and
that's
there's
true.
the cafe game. It's just really weird. We're like, okay, everyone, we know you're all hyped for the DLC. You just got this 10-minute announcement to sit through.
It's like we
we're
know
gonna
that y'all
start-
are you're expecting Pokemon Sleep or like Diamond and Pearl remakes. So you know what? You get Smile.
You get Pokemon Smile, brush your teeth. But no, we are working on Snap 2, and that was exciting for a number of reasons. Did you guys play the original Pokemon Snap?
I did.
You did?
I did.
Yeah.
Probably a lot later than everyone else because I didn't get a Nintendo 64 until way after the GameCube came out.
Well, you didn't
But
play it
I did
later
play
than
and I
me,
did really like Pokemon Snap.
because I played it at university, so that was when I first played Pokemon
right.
Snap.
I've never played it.
Same.
It's good. People like that game, right? And they just like everything about it. As many of you know, I started working on a series playing the character from the first game, Todd Snap, complaining about the fact that there's not a Pokemon Snap 2 despite its popularity, and the production on that got pushed back and back and back and back and back, and 2 weeks ago we finally got episode 1 out. What fortuitous timing that they then announce new Pokemon Snap, because I think... But the great thing about it is that the character model in there doesn't look like Todd Snap, so I think Todd Snap is going to have a lot to say about that in upcoming episodes.
Well, that will be very interesting to hear. But yeah, that was pure gold for you. Obviously, the other thing that was announced was another announcement. You gotta love an announcement of an announcement.
Yeah.
Next week, what are we expecting to hear on the And we'll talk about this on next week's podcast. What are you expecting to hear in next week's announcement?
So at the
Pokemon
moment,
Frown.
going off of which mons are in the background, there's going to be something Gen 2 related. Hopefully.
Oh.
Yeah, we're leaning towards Colosseum-y stuff, or Let's Go Johto.
Really?
Yeah.
There's like 5 things that could get announced, honestly, that are all pretty equal game. You could do, here's an announcement about the next part of the DLC / more DLC. They could do Diamond and Pearl remakes. They could do Virtual Console coming to the Switch that involves, like all the old DS games and stuff. They could do Let's Go Johto, because there was lots of Johto Pokemon decorating the background. Or they could throw a real curveball and go, also, here's Pokemon Colosseum on the Switch. Honestly, any of these are options, and I don't know which are necessarily more likely than the others. If I had to hazard a guess, I'd say Diamond and Pearl remakes announced for next spring, summer, but that is, wild. I don't know.
That's wishful thinking.
Yeah.
At its finest.
That's what I thought it was as well, because it's got to be something big. And I remember Diamond and Pearl initially came out in summer. I'm pretty sure I remember that. I remember getting it when I was at a drama group we used to do summer school, Toby. I'm pretty sure I remember this.
Yeah.
So,
It's got to be something that's big enough that they didn't want it to steal the thunder of their first ever DLC.
Right.
Make it that way, will. You know.
Now,
or it could be Pokemon Sleep. Sorry. Yes, go on.
Oh, of course, Pokemon Sleep. Although you were saying you think maybe Smile is instead of Sleep.
I don't know. I thought maybe it was, but now I'm not so sure. So
Smile is literally just for brushing teeth, though, isn't it?
we'll find. I mean, we'll find
I
out.
was a little confused because when I watched the announcement, they were like, "Yeah, to make the stressful tasks less stressful, it's literally just toothbrushing." As far as I can tell from having played it a little bit.
I have never had stress while brushing my teeth in my life. I don't know. I don't know what this is about. To be fair, I don't think we're really the demographic for the game.
It's pretty fun, though. I'm the demographic. I love it. It tells you where to brush. You catch Pokemon while you're doing it.
Did you not know how to brush your teeth before?
Well, it sounds like he didn't.
You know, every day is an adventure. Every day is an
Every day's a new
adventure.
step.
Right, let's move on to the next topic, though, which is I want to talk about streaming. Streaming is something that we've all done to varying degrees. And it's something we've all done more than usual recently due to world events that I'm not going to really go too into. The year that never happened, 2020. I want to start with you, Carly. GarbageEGirl. Because you started streaming shortly after I sort of just restarted streaming properly. Very close to when I started, actually. And I want to just hear a little bit about why you started and how you're sort of feeling about streaming at the moment.
Okay, so I'm the baby stream. Started at the end of April. It was a complete accident, basically, is how that happened. I do a digital media degree at the moment, and I wanted something to do over the summer. So when I saw you getting back into streaming, I was like, overlays look kind of fun. How do they work? That was the basis. I wanted to know how to do Twitch overlays, maybe try and make some for other people. And so I waited till after midnight one night, so everyone wasn't watching. It was going to be super secret, and I was just going to stream maybe Overwatch for, 20 minutes just to see how it goes. And then my friend Marissa saw I was streaming. She was like, "What are you doing?" So it kind of went off of that, and she joined in, and it was just really fun, and we ended up with way more people watching than should have been possible. And it kind of just went off from there. Now we do it most nights. Complete accident, though.
Yeah, somebody should have warned you that like late night UK time is like prime time in America. So
it's gonna be so secret, no one's gonna see.
I love the idea that you started streaming by accident, though. It's like the meme where you press the go live button by accident, which is most streamers' worst nightmares, by the way.
Definitely.
I've heard about people that have done it, somehow accidentally gone live and then walked past their camera butt naked. And that is a disaster when that happens. So Phoebe, you are also streaming at the moment. Not quite as much as GarbageEGirl, but you're streaming pretty regularly, right?
It's kind of regular. It depends on how I'm feeling, to be honest. No, yeah, I started streaming, I think, a little bit after Carly. I can't actually remember. It was a while ago. It's because... Okay, so in my life right now, I've recently moved across the country to live with Toby. And that was just after the huge event of which we do not speak hit. So I haven't really
it's like
had
the apocalypse. We're in the last of us.
Yeah, so I don't really have anything to do in my own time at the moment because I'd never had time to set down roots properly. And streaming just felt like something to keep me on somewhat of a schedule. So I say that. I try to stream 3 times a week, but I keep missing them because I'm a horrible person. But yeah, I saw people working to get affiliate, and I thought that would be fun. So I did that, and then I got affiliate, and now I'm still going. Yeah.
There you go. And you stream a mix between Overwatch mostly and artwork. Well, you've been playing some Sea of Thieves recently as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, officially I stream art on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then I have a gaming session on Saturday with my friend Burger. And yeah, I recently had to do another game stream because my tablet broke, which thankfully was not permanent. I fixed it. We're good.
Oh. Excellent.
Yeah, I found a lot of success actually. I've really enjoyed doing Twitch emotes for you guys and like having you guys in the chat and taking suggestions from you guys. So sort of community art-based stuff is incredibly enjoyable. I feel like that's what I should probably spec into.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I really like art streams because I don't have any talent whatsoever when it comes to that area. Well, or whatsoever in general, but specifically in that area, I can't draw a stick man. So, like, I find it really great to watch art streams. I think it's great if you can stream something, entertain chat, and also show off a talent you have. I think that's the very good thing. So, just popping back to Carly for a moment, because we talked about what Phoebe's streaming. Carly, you stream mostly Overwatch, I want to say, but a mix of other stuff too.
Yeah, so it is mostly Overwatch. We do occasionally break into Minecraft, and I think last night we started it off with Dungeons and Lesbians. So that was a fun one. Yeah, so that was a small game that was in the Racial Justice bundle from itch.io.
Okay.
Very good. Highly recommend.
So you play a large variety of different stuff, and your streamer, I always remind people this if I'm ever promoting or rating or anything, your stream's for mature audiences only, right?
Yes. So please don't join if you're young or you're offended by strong language.
As Toby just points at himself,
I'm too delicate.
You are babby.
Babby.
Yeah, it's very entertaining, fun time though. Lots of soul in GarbageEGirl stream. And Toby, you have been, I think, over a long period of time now, more consistent than any of us, but for various reasons. Obviously, you are primarily a YouTuber.
Yeah.
What does streaming mean to you?
Streaming is, streaming is like video making's cool younger brother. That's like everyone who does video making on YouTube, I think, sees stuff like Twitch and goes, oh, that's similar enough to what I'm doing that I should give that a go. But actually, when you get down to what they're about, they're very different formats and they're very, very different platforms. And obviously, I mean, watching you take on streaming has obviously been my biggest source of inspiration for streaming in terms of you're like, oh, I'm not talented, but you just look at the layout of this podcast, you look at the layout of your streams overall, and all those assets, things you've been putting together, you're like, oh, that would be cool, and you make creative decisions about streaming in the same way that I would about video making. And so to me, streaming has always been something that's been supplementary to the videos, where this is a chance for people who watch my videos to kind of hang out and get to know me, for better or worse. It's also obviously very useful when a new DLC comes out or when a new game comes out. Great, I get to share that experience for the first time with viewers. And it's also been a good way to raise a little bit of money for charity from time to time, which has been nice. We did a big one last year. But I've always seen it as supplementary. Whenever I've tried to commit to it as like this is something I should do. Yeah, absolutely. Let's jump into it. What I find is that actually it's not for me. It's very tiring. I can't do two jobs. And I'm already doing YouTube. That's my full-time job. And if I wanted to commit to streaming in the way you are, that's another full-time job. And there's not enough in me for that. So I've always gotten tired. When the dreaded events begun, I decided, okay, well, I'll come back and I'll try maybe just weekdays for like a couple hours. In the Pokemon community, we have this community raid hour started, so that kind of became a weekly port to call, and then around the same time, you kind of swung in with everything you're doing. So I was like, okay, well, I'll join you with that rather than doing my own. I think I'd rather sit back a little bit, be a little bit lazier, and not have the hosting responsibility. So it's pretty much just been that, and then obviously this last week, getting ready for Pokemon. And I expect going forward, I'm actually going to stream a little bit less. I'm going to be appearing on your stream a lot. I'm going to be doing a lot of podcasts. But on my own Twitch, I think it might start dwindling down and just become the community raid hour each week. Again, supplementary to what I really want to focus on, which is the videos, which is YouTube. And I'm so sorry, I am rambling.
No, you're fine. That's the point of the podcast, isn't it, to talk? It's really fascinating, actually. It's something that's always fascinated me with your stream, because obviously I used to stream 5 years ago or whatever. I used to stream Hearthstone while I was at university every single evening, and that was when I first grew the stream. And then let it die, and then restarted it again very recently. But something that's always fascinated me is what I've found when I've been streaming is that it's all about consistency. It's about streaming at the same time every day, getting those regulars to come in, getting it so that they know when you're live, when they should expect you to be live, when to be there, and building up a community that way. But I think a streamer streaming is very different to a YouTuber streaming.
Yeah.
It's very different things. You find that when you stream something like the DLC last week, hundreds of viewers, huge event, popular, people want to see you.
It's a special occasion. It's a special event.
Exactly.
Toby doesn't do this usually. Oh, this is cool, promoting on all the platforms. Jump on. And then, like you say with you, it's that consistency thing. It's the relationship that you're building with people to, entertain them over the course of weeks and months and hopefully years.
And it's just a weird... I always found it very weird because it's like in the past... I remember back again when I used to stream Hearthstone, you'd go live once for the first time ever. It's like everyone's watching you, crazy view counts. Oh my god, how many views has Toby got? And then like you stream again, it's like half that number because it wasn't a special event anymore. Like that's the novelty. People have seen you live. So for a YouTuber streaming, it's almost like it's better to do it a little bit less.
I think so. There are YouTubers I know who can build it into their business model. I see a lot of like Let's Plays where the core focus of the Let's Play is what you see on the YouTube channel. And then there's the in-between grindy bits where we're catching Pokemon and hunting for shinies and that kind of thing. And that stuff, that's the stream content that is almost like a behind the scenes of the main content that goes out on YouTube. And there are definitely people who can juggle that. I'm not one of them.
It's going to be difficult. I mean, from my perspective alone, I mean, like you pointed out, like me making all the assets for the podcast, putting together the podcast, everything. I'm spending at the moment 70 hours a week working on the stream, 35 hours a week actually streaming, and then the other 35 hours a week is trying to, whether it's coming up with ideas, scripting stuff, making videos, making assets, that kind of thing. And I feel like that's how I want to run things. I want to make sure there's always something fresh and new. But like, that can only last so long. I'm hoping eventually I can start earning some money from the stream so I can start being like, hey, other people, you make stuff for me. Let me do the stream bit. I can keep coming up with new stuff. You make it. But yeah, so being a YouTuber and a streamer at the same time, it's very, very difficult. And one bit of advice, and people are always asking this kind of thing, and I'm meaning to make a video on this topic, advice for new streamers, is like, Twitch is not usually the platform people are going to find you on. Twitch is not a very discoverable platform. To be a streamer, really, you want people to discover you elsewhere, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, anything like that, and then sort of flock in. Or even if you're big in a game community, post your link in your game community, whatever. Like people can discover you there. People won't very often, if you're small, discover you on Twitch. A lot of my viewers are people that have come from your YouTube channel, Toby, and thankfully they've enjoyed it enough to stick around. But like, if not for that kind of little kick at the beginning, I don't know, like, whether I'd have found these people in the first place.
And then you've got those people who are also streaming, who are finding each other in your Discord. And so that becomes a community where people can discover one another. Which is also, I guess, why the art of collaboration is so great on, whether it's on Twitch or on YouTube, because it's people discovering each other and sharing communities and that kind of thing. Which is also what's been so nice about the four of us, certainly over the last, I think, month and a half, 2 months, is that a lot of our streams have been raiding each other and interacting with each other. So we've got a lot of shared people watching who, and then, people who might have found Carly and won't have found Dan will then find Dan that way, and vice versa. It's great.
Excuse me as I just quickly hotfix the fact that you disappeared from the screen, Toby. It's very weird. I mean, and we the four of us have a lot of people that actually travel through all of our streams, isn't that right? I mean, Carly, I know that you've got your regular viewers that you're often seeing in my stream, vice versa, right?
Yeah, that's really fun to see. I saw actually one of my mods, Scott, come into yours last night and subscribe, and I was like, yay!
There you go. I think it was gifted, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's very cool. Anyway, so that's streaming. Now, streaming is a lot of work. Making YouTube videos is a lot of work. And Toby, we've got to talk about this briefly.
Yeah.
It got a little bit much for you recently.
Oh, it got too much, didn't it? It did get a bit overwhelming. Because I think one of the reasons people have flocked to streaming and everything lately is because of everything going on in the world. Everyone's starting up a stream, and if you're someone who's already making content like myself, you kind of go, oh well, it's my obligation to upload more content and to stream more and be more active and push. And often, I think the life of a creator online is, at the moment, that balance between quantity and quality. And as the quantity goes up, the quality tends to take a little bit of a hit. And even if lots of people are enjoying it, you as the creator, it's really just down to if you're happy or not. And so you're kind of there in this mindset of, I'm not making anything good, I'm just pushing out loads of rubbish, and everyone knows it, they can all see it, and the world on social media, aside from my terrible videos, is everything going on out there right now. And we were in a KFC drive-thru, and there was cars behind us, and we didn't know what we wanted. And the lady's asking us, what do we want? And she can't hear us. And I say to Dad, please, Dad, let's just drive around. Let's just drive around. And he's like, no, what are you talking about? We're not driving around. I'm like, just drive around. And suddenly I'm just having this massive panic attack. And I think that just comes from, there's the creator burnout. Of course we were going to end up here. And this is something, you know, I worry about for all my creative friends. I worry about it for you as well. You have been going so hard with Twitch lately. I know there was a day a couple weeks ago or last week where you like double napped, and I was like, that's not like Dan. A double nap? Not even a single nap is like that. And just, it's important to recognize when you're in the creative spheres to kind of take time off. I know every cell in your body says I should be working on this thing, but take time off, people. It's so important.
Phoebe, what was going through your mind as Toby was? Because you were with Toby at the KFC, right?
So the reason we were at the KFC in the first place was because I've been a mopey person for like the last 2 months. Because I mean, I'm normally the one with the brain problems, and then just seemingly out of nowhere, he's just like losing it, and it was very strange being on the other side of the freak out. And I wanted to hug this human, and we sort of, we figured out it was like multiple things that had caused it, but it just came out of absolutely nowhere, which I think was the most surprising thing. Yeah, he was completely fine, and then suddenly he's just screaming, and like, thankfully the KFC lady was so lovely.
Oh man, she's so nice. I'm like apologizing to her through the window, like
I'm sat in the front seat with Toby's dad trying to organize everything, because I'm like the only one with a level head at the moment, because Toby's dad's all like, what's just happened?
my dad deals with stress in a way. He goes, right, well just calm down, and I'm like, this isn't helpful. Just calm down. Stop winding yourself up.
So I'm just like, I'm sat between these two guys trying to stop them from setting each other off, and I'm like talking to this KFC lady at the same time, like, okay, it's us again, and he's trying to apologize, and I'm like, shush, darling. All right, he wants this.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
But you sit in the back, you look after the drinks, and just deal with yourself. I'll sort out the life things. I'll get the fries. And then we got back and we watched something, I can't remember what, and just ate the KFC and tried to calm down. And then I think the next day was a bit sort of iffy as well.
You get to the point where you're halfway through. It was about halfway through the day before I kind of sprung back up. But you do go. I think I was obviously upset, but you get I think in the case of a panic attack, which that definitely was, and it's definitely, I'm not super common into the world of panic attacks. I think I've maybe had 3 or 4 in my life. I know there are people who tweeted at me saying, you know, this is something I deal with daily. I can't even imagine what you're going through. And I think with something like that, for me, I'm more upset about the fact that I'm getting upset. And I'm just sitting there going, why did that just happen? I'm a functioning human, aren't I? Like, what's going on? What is it? You know, and you get more panicked and more worried about, like, is that going to happen again? Is it not going to happen again? And it kind of, I mean, it just took a good sleep, some food, get halfway through the next day, and then sort of going, no, you know what? Actually, that makes sense. We've had 3 or 4 months, all of us across the world, of being forced into living in a new kind of reality. And then I'm there, and my response is, well, I've got to entertain. And, you know, I've had a very, you know, like you say, Phoebe, you've been struggling as well with the motivation the last few months. And, you know, it all builds up, and social media gets more and more heated, and people are very divisive. And that's it. That's it, actually. No, that makes sense. That's normal. That is a reaction that actually makes sense. Okay, cool. Right, let's get on.
I think my sort of conclusion to this is everyone needs to just sort of know, especially at the moment, like it's okay to not be okay. Like this is a hard year for a variety of reasons.
It's a really tough time. Yeah.
But to move on to something a little bit happier, or maybe a little bit more exciting, talked Pokemon. There was another big event that happened just over a week ago now, announcing something not Nintendo related, but Sony related. The PlayStation 5. We've seen it. We've seen some game footage. I'm going to start with you, GarbageEGirl. Was there anything about the PS5 reveal that you particularly liked the look of, or didn't like the look of, or how are you feeling about it?
So I've seen it's quite controversial. Loads of people have very mixed opinions on how it looks. To me, I think it looks kind of cool, but yeah, I'm actually quite excited. Less about the games and more about what they mean with the haptic feedback. So game immersion tech is on the rise, and it's something I'm personally kind of interested in. Like, they're very excited about the controller. They've even gone as far as to call it a dual sense instead of a dual shock. They seem to be very...
I didn't know about this.
Yeah, like, they're really upping what they're talking about, like, immersion-wise. So stuff like if you're using a bow and arrow, you should be able to feel the tension. If you're driving through mud, you should be able to like feel that. I don't know how they're gonna bring that in, but they're bigging it up a lot, and I'm very excited to see how that goes.
So the Switch has the technology, I guess, popped to a slightly more basic degree in the Joy-Cons, where supposedly you can feel if there was a ball inside your Joy-Con, you could feel it rolling around and that kind of thing. But the PS5 maybe is taking that a step further, and that is one of the few things that I do think sometimes feels better about playing a game on a controller than mouse and keyboard. Is vibrations and that feedback, you know, when you're reloading, if your gun makes if the controller has a little vibration as you sort of put the clip in, that kind of, like, that is an extra level of feedback that you don't get on mouse and keyboard. And if they're really pushing that with the PS5, I think that's quite cool.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see if they're like bigging it up and it's gonna be like a massive letdown. It's just gonna be like vibrations and maybe a slightly different sense. But there's also some rumors like there'll be other peripherals coming with it. Like someone was someone wrote something about like a little robot. I think it sounds out of there, but it sounds like they're a robot that will help with immersion as well, just like kind of sensing the player's emotions and feedback. I think it's a load of hooey, but...
What, you mean like an AI robot?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I was reading it and it sounds crazy, but apparently there are some, like, smaller peripherals to go along with this new controller to kind of help with immersion. So I am interested to see if that is anything at all, or just rumors.
The future is here.
Yeah.
You mentioned the look of the console. I mean, I think everyone's probably seen how it looks by now, and yeah, I've seen a lot of mixed opinions. Personally, I quite like the look of the console. I get the memes. I get people saying it looks like Seto Kaiba's coat. I get the memes. Yeah. People saying it looks like a router. And it does kind of look like a router, but to me it looks modern. I think it looks quite clean. I like it. What do you think, Phoebe?
I really like how the disc driveless one looks. Like the sort of vase shape to it. It's very cool. It reminds me a bit of the 360, and that was very, very successful. So yeah, hopefully that's something that they can emulate. I hope it comes in different colors. As much as I like the black and white combo, I think I prefer like a straight, just flush black one. Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with limited editions as well, because that's always interesting.
Oh yeah. And Toby, do you like the look of it?
It looks like it's going to be quite big, doesn't it? Did anyone think that? Like, I think I saw a side by side with a Switch, and it looks. And I'm thinking about.
It's rumored. It's rumored that it's going to be a bit of a chunk.
And does it not go on its side? I don't.
No, I don't believe it does.
I'm not. Okay, I'll be honest. I'm not like super enthused about the design, but my problems with the design are not pitchforks. I think I quite glibly tweeted out a picture of it next to a Nintendo Wii with the caption "same energy," but I'm not. Like, it, whatever. It looks like it looks. I'm probably gonna get it.
I'm pretty sure it does go on its side, but yeah,
sure.
I don't know how we're gonna fit it on the TV stand.
Now, I wasn't particularly interested originally in the PS5. I mean, yeah, PlayStation do amazing exclusives, and if I ever buy a console, that's the reason I buy it. But ever since I've sort of moved, because I used to be a console exclusive player, now I'm mostly PC. So I'm kind of pretty indifferent about consoles apart from the exclusive side of it. But when I saw the games and when I saw the trailers, and I didn't see the whole thing, I actually didn't watch it live. I watched some of the trailers afterwards. I was extremely impressed with what I saw. I mean, there was Resident Evil 8, which I'm personally excited about because Resident Evil 7 in VR is my favorite single-player gaming experience I've ever had. I thought Ratchet and Clank looked beautiful.
Yes.
I've always liked that franchise. I was a little bit disappointed with the one on the PS4. The graphics, the visuals look so good. There was the new Demon's Souls game that was announced. And obviously Spider-Man is one of the big ones for a lot of people. Even though there was that little bit of drama where it's like, oh, it's actually just a little expansion.
Yeah.
But no, it seems like, as far as I'm aware, the most common or the most recent update is that it's more like when you compare Uncharted, the extra Uncharted game that came out?
Yeah.
That's not an expansion. It's a standalone game, but it's a shorter standalone game after Uncharted 4. Is it Uncharted?
Lost Legacy, Thieves
Lost
End,
Legacy, thank you.
yeah.
That's it, Lost Legacy. So it seems that it is its own game. So
It seems-
what are you guys excited for?
Go for it.
Anyone.
Go for it.
Hit me with some hype.
There's a certain very important game that you did not mention that I'm incredibly excited.
I know what you're going to say.
It's
I may have missed it entirely. Which one is it?
It's a game called Stray. You play as a cat.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Sold.
I haven't seen this one.
You play
Really?
as a cat,
No, I
you
haven't
play
seen
as
this
a cat going through. It looks like it's a platformer, and it's like this Japanese-looking world, and there's all these robots, and it's like the future. It looks almost like a weird dystopian future, and you play as a cat navigating that world. And it just looks really interesting.
Hold up, I just looked this up. The cat has a backpack.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Backpack
Yeah.
cat.
Oh my god.
It's
so
called
good.
Stray, which is a great name.
Amazing.
You didn't mention. There was another game you didn't mention, and I can't remember. So loop back
Horizon?
to me on this.
Another one?
Wait,
Horizon.
you said the word loop. There is another game coming out called Deathloop, which looks very good. Which is like Groundhog Day but with assassins, and I'm also incredibly here for that because I don't know what that's going to be like gameplay wise, how they're going to add the whole Groundhog Day thing. Like, are you just going to play from the start every single time you die? I don't know. It just looks very good. I'm very here for it.
It's the Oddworld game.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oddworld game, which my good friend Liam, H-Trainer Liam, is very excited about because he's like, they recently Oddworld did a tweet with people's reactions to the trailer, and like his is there, and like they've got a good
Brilliant.
relationship. He's streaming on their thing. Very exciting. Very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. The first Oddworld game was the first video game I ever played when I was about 3 years old. And it's far too adult for 4-year-old me to be playing. I
It
do
really
understand
is.
it, obviously. But it's because when my parents first got their PlayStation, I'd watch them play it, and I want to play. Yeah, no, it's very exciting. I mean, I'm definitely, after seeing these reveals, I'm definitely going to be buying it on launch and streaming some of the games. I cannot wait to get my hands on them. I feel like this generation, not counting the Switch for this, the Switch is kind of its own thing. Nintendo kind of do their own thing. But PS4, Xbox One, well, this generation kind of sucked. I feel like the Xbox specifically, it started to take it out of the, pick it up
Yeah.
now
Xbox
with the
One.
Xbox Games Pass and really that kind of thing. But when the Xbox came out, oof, it wasn't.
It's just, it doesn't have exclusives. Like it was
Right.
it was so bad that in 2014 they stopped actually releasing their sales figures because they must have been losing the console race that badly. Because I mean, I remember when they first came out and like the big question was, are you going to get a PlayStation? Are you going to get an Xbox? And like,
Yeah.
it's pretty obvious which one.
It's just not any. There's nothing there. Everything. Honestly, the big flagship for the Xbox was Halo. Halo slowly but surely kind of flopped on Xbox a little bit, apart from Halo 5, and then it grew on PC as it has done over the last kind of half year to a year, to the point where Halo's not really. Xbox hasn't really got much of what I call a brand identity. On top of that, the console looks clunky. I've always thought the display. I don't own an Xbox. I haven't for about a year. But the actual dashboard of the Xbox, I remember
The UI and everything.
I
is just
remember
not
feeling I'm
great.
so fond of the 360 and how that displayed, and then the Xbox One just everything was everywhere. It was a whole mess. I'm interested to know what you guys think about disc versus discless, and
Okay. Yeah.
because I was thinking about this, and my brain immediately goes to, I'll buy disc. It looks better. It'll probably be cheaper for not having the disc drive. And then I thought, but hang on. That means if I ever want to buy a game, I have to buy it through the digital store at whatever price it is there. I can never buy it off a friend. I can never resell it or anything like that.
That's where my brain goes to as well. Like, I generally prefer having a discless game. I prefer just being like, back when Kinect came a thing with Xbox One, which is a gimmick that I actually kind of liked at first. I loved being able to be like, Xbox, play Halo. And it would just, boop, yep, you're playing Halo. You don't need to fiddle around with discs. I quite liked that. But the cost of these things, the fact you can't sell them, and the fact that digital games are always more expensive on these stores than the physical copies, which makes no sense whatsoever, but they always are. That puts me off a little bit. What about you two? What about Phoebe? Do you like the look of the disc? I know you said you like the look of it. Would you think you'd prefer to have the discless one, or?
Well, I'm not really used to, the only console I've ever owned is a Wii, and I guess a Switch now. Okay. So I'm not really used to the whole economy of, I guess, Xbox or PlayStation games. With the Wii, it was really cool to be able to borrow discs from people, and just because I didn't have Smash growing up, and my friend bought Smash Bros over once, and it was great. But I guess you couldn't do that with discless. But on the other hand, I don't own any PC game discs. Every single game I have on PC is downloaded on the internet, and that works fine for me. And I only own, I think, 2 or 3 Switch titles that aren't downloaded, and again, it works fine for me. So I really don't know. It's
a very good point. I hadn't thought about the comparison to PC. Obviously, nobody puts a disc in a PC to play a game.
I mean, you used to back in the day, but
I remember buying World of Warcraft and it having like 6 discs, and each one took about an hour to install, and you had to put one in and then put the next one in, then put the next one in.
I remember when the local Woolworths shut down and we got a whole bunch for £1, and it was great. It's a bit of a bygone era.
What happens? We buy the PlayStation 5. I buy all the exclusives on it, and they're all downloaded, and then I come to sell the console. Are they attached to the console? They're attached to my account, presumably.
No, they'd be attached to your account, wouldn't they?
But what happens if they don't retroactively make those games downloadable onto the PlayStation 6 in the future? Like, there's a lot of lot of questions about this. Yeah, unlucky, I guess. Thank you. You paid your £50-60 to.
There's also the chance that you break the game. I mean, you can't really break a digital download because you can just re-download it. Whereas if you have a disc, your dog could eat it or something.
I do not trust you with any of my discs anymore. What? How many discs are you breaking?
You mean you don't trust Rolo with any of the discs? Yeah, that's always a problem. Or getting them lost. That's something.
I suppose
it's a weird one. I mean, with the Switch specifically, I remember when Smash came out. on the Switch, and I remember Toby saying, "I don't know whether to get the physical copy or the download. I kind of want the physical copy for Smash, so I've got it." And my counter argument was, the thing is, Smash is one of those games on the Switch that, like, over the entire course of the Switch's life, occasionally you're just going to want to play it. Occasionally you'll be at a party with a friend. You go, actually, I fancy a game of Smash. It's not the kind of one and done game where you play through the story and you're done. So to me, the idea of having Smash there, always on the Switch as a digital download, always accessible, it's very convenient.
The Switch is actually, to be honest, I bought my first 4 games on Switch physically, and since then I've not bought anything physically. I've always downloaded it.
But you just said The Last of Us Part 2 arrived, and that's a disc for you, right?
Oh, in terms of the Switch.
Yeah, sure. But why did you decide to get that as a disc and not as a download?
Why did I decide to get that as a disc and not a download? It's a very good question. I don't know.
Is the PS5 going to be compatible with PS4 discs? Do we know that yet?
I don't remember. There's definitely news about backwards compatibility.
I think knowing that the PlayStation 5 is going to come out and that there'll probably be a version for it for the 5, am I going to want to play it and then resell it and then rebuy it like on the 5? Is that going to be the case? I don't know. I don't know why I felt that with the
PS5 will support backwards compatibility with seemingly all PS4 games due to it being based in part on the PS4's architecture. The performance boost on the PS5 is so significant that these games will need testing. Okay, that's what I got from Eurogamer.
The counter argument I kind of have for myself though about buying a discless PS5 though is that ultimately the only games that I own for my PlayStation 4 are the exclusives. and are the ones, like any other game, I would just buy on my PC. So I'll be buying them for that console anyway, I guess. So
see, now I'm leaning towards the discless one.
Yeah, so now I'm thinking about discless. So I don't know.
Fascinating. I wonder if one's less likely to break than the other, or something stupid like that. I don't know. It's impossible to predict these things early.
Yeah, I guess we have to wait for them to come out.
But we've talked about hype and excitement over the PS5. The Xbox release thing is, I believe, next month. They have their big press event where we're supposed to be seeing the first features of Halo Infinite, along with other first-party Xbox titles. Now, Halo is a game that's always been... I used to be Xbox fanboy, Xbox 360 over PS3, because despite the fact PS3 had The Last of Us and Naughty Dog and amazing exclusives there, Halo was my favorite game. But now Halo's on PC. As Microsoft are making what I think is a fantastic decision of releasing their games more on PC.
Yes.
It does seem to render the Xbox console pretty useless.
Yeah.
I wonder what they would have to announce for me to actually want to buy an Xbox Scarlet.
I mean, it is an Xbox not at this point baby's first PC, for gaming.
It's a bit expensive for baby's first PC.
Yeah, a bit expensive for baby's first, but I agree with the sentiment though, because growing up, a teenager is more likely to have a console than a PC.
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, it's more expensive. It's more expensive than like a Switch. If an Xbox is £350, say for example, that's more expensive than a Switch. But if you want to buy a proper gaming PC, you're talking at least £1,000.
Yeah.
So, like, convincing a parent to buy you a Xbox for Christmas is a lot easier than convincing a parent to buy you a computer
and
Christmas.
It's still part of, like, the cultural mindset. Like, parents now have grown up with consoles. And so, and a great many of them with fond memories of their GameCubes and their Xboxes and PlayStation 2s. And, they're the parents.
Do you think maybe the best way to market the Xbox, then, is to market it for children?
Not necessarily young children, but like you say, teenagers, kind of like 12, 13, 14-year-olds who it's that first console type scenario. Yeah, maybe.
But then I also know that there's a lot of adults that sort of game not as hardcore as any of us do. There are adults that play games casually. Toby, I'm thinking about our personal trainer. I mean, he plays a lot of games, but he's not a PC guy. He has a PlayStation.
Sure.
He'll buy and he'll sell games.
A FIFA person? Because I feel like that's the sort of thing that I'd say an Xbox would be good for.
Right.
And that's a mindset that I definitely, can't relate to. But it is those people that, they've got the console. It's their way of kicking back and playing some FIFA. It's definitely a lot less.
The casual
committal.
gamer.
Yeah, and it's a lot less committal than buying a PC. Like, oh yeah, I wanted to play some FIFA, so. A lot of people do not want to game sat down in front of a computer. This is uncomfortable. It's the sofa experience, and for the games that still support it, it's the sofa experience that you want to share with your friends, with multiple.
And when I say casual gamer, I don't mean that as an insult by any means. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. That's not what. But like, it's just. I think the point we're sort of getting to is that. Whereas the PlayStation has these amazing exclusive games, looking at the PS4 specifically, Spider-Man, God of War, Uncharted, The Last of Us, Bloodborne, all of these games that you can only get them on the PlayStation. And then when you look at the Xbox side of things, I'm struggling to think of any off the top of my head. The big Xbox exclusives used to be Forza, that's on PC now. Halo, that's on PC now. What else? God of War, that's on PC now. What else is there? I don't know what the Xbox exclusives are anymore. Sunset Overdrive, that's on PC now.
Yeah.
Can anyone think of any? Or
No, I mean, and that's been Xbox's problem. I mean, really, since they moved Halo to PC, which was the day that I sold my Xbox and bought a PC, and said, that was my reason for having an Xbox.
I've just Googled Xbox One exclusive games. Right, here's the list. The first list that came up on Google. Gears 5, that's on PC. Sea of Thieves, that's on PC. Forza 7, PC. Halo 5. Halo 5 actually isn't on PC. Not the full game. So Halo 5, there's one.
1 point.
Forza Horizon 4, PC. Sunset Overdrive, PC. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, PC. Quantum Break, PC. They're all, literally, apart from Halo, they're all on PC.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like again, with PlayStation, you've got the exclusives, and then you've got exclusive experiences. We're talking about Resident Evil. The Resident Evil VR experience is exclusive to the PlayStation, and that is yet another selling point and a reason for me to buy that game on that console so that I can enjoy that. Whereas the Xbox doesn't even have anything like that. The Xbox Games Pass, it's a service that I use on PC. The console itself is just nothing. I can't see whatever they announce entering my bedroom.
But it's weird because I appreciate that. Like, thank you, Xbox, for giving us this Game Pass on PC. It's a fantastic service. It makes me not want to buy your console. It's good for us.
I mean, it's all Microsoft, so it's still benefiting.
Well, yeah. True.
I'm still going to buy those games, or buy maybe some games if they appear exclusive on Game Pass down the line. But getting familiar with that platform. Xbox Live Gold, I've still got to have that in order to play Halo, so I'm still going to keep on paying into Xbox here and there. But as for the actual console, I just don't see it holding a place in my bedroom, I think.
No, I mean, that makes sense. Are there any last words anyone wants to add to this topic about the PS5 reveal specifically?
I was going to say, are there any specific reasons to get an Xbox over a PlayStation you can think of?
Uh-oh.
I mean, I guess price point could be a thing once we know prices, but that's pretty much the only thing I can think of.
Very good question. I guess we're not going to know that until the announcement next month, right? That is what is going to be answering that question. Like, why should I buy an Xbox? Boom, big announcement. We'll have to wait and see. Anyways, right, in that case, we have one more segment left, which is the Q&A. So all week, I've had a Falcone token point reward on stream for ask a question on the podcast. And I have a few questions to ask, and some that have actually already been asked. So we've already sort of been through what's your favorite thing about the Isle of Armor. So we've done that one. Krath, so that was the real Ace Trainer Devon asked that one. Krath has asked, this is for all of you, out of all of the things in Pokemon currently and in the past, what is the one thing you want to see improved or returned in games?
Oh.
So I'm going to give everyone a moment to think about that.
Exploration. I think that's the thing that jumps to mind. Exploration. They did, again, step in the right direction, Isle of Armor. I want more. That's it.
Shiny hunting. The shiny hunting in current gen is not good. I recently went back to Let's Go Pikachu, and the shiny hunting is so fun, and I miss it, and I don't want to just have to hatch eggs if I want a shiny. That's my answer.
You got any thoughts on that one, Carly?
I'm definitely on the same wavelength as Toby. Exploration. Just, I think the DLC kind of is them testing where they're going to take the next few games. So I think it's basically going to get better from here.
I think for me, it's challenge. And I think it was really amazing playing the game through in doing your challenge, Toby. That really, really helped the experience for me. I was saying on stream today how one of the most exciting things during my gameplay was when I was at the gym challenge. It's hard. If my Pokemon faints, there's consequences. And then I'd get to the final trainer, and the music really pumps up for the final one. It's like, the thrill of sort of doing that was very, very exciting. And so I'd love to see some built-in way of challenging, whether that means re-enabling the ability to turn off the EXP share or anything like that. I think
something is optional, even if it's buried in the settings, just so that no one can click it by accident. Just
imagine if they made a hard mode, and it's genuinely hard. What if they made it at a hidden difficulty where your Pokemon actually do have lives, and you can't like edit that. You can't be like, oh, actually, just pretend that's it.
It's in Nuzlocke mode. That'd be great.
Yeah. Like imagine. I feel like that would make it quite exciting for a lot of people.
And scaling. Needs scaling.
Yeah, scaling. Absolutely. All right, J24092 asks, streaming on a budget, can it work?
Ooh.
Yes. Maybe?
It depends on what bits of budget and what bits aren't. Because if you don't have internet, you're not streaming.
This is true.
That's the baseline. You can't stream if you keep cutting out. If your quota's awful.
what are you bringing to the table in terms of you could have a good mic but terrible webcam, terrible layout, but you might be streaming you playing guitar or something, I don't know, playing music or doing something real or creative, or doing an art stream, for example, and that's what you're bringing to the table. So no, not everything needs to look super flashy, super high tech. I know the gamers, it tends to lean that way because that's a nice addition. It's very complementary to what's being done. But I think ultimately, if you're bringing something to the table, like if it's not necessarily whether it's good commentary or good gameplay, like high level gameplay, it can be done on a budget. But I think you've got to know what it is that you're bringing, I guess.
Now,
you got to play to your strengths.
On one hand, I'm probably the worst person to ask about this because I have an incredibly high budget stream nowadays. But on the other hand, when I started, I didn't. When I first started streaming, I streamed on my MacBook that I used for university. I streamed at like 5 frames per second. I was using my built-in microphone. It was terrible. And I just did whatever I could to keep people in. I had no viewers. I talked and I talked and I talked. And I just, as soon as someone came in, did whatever I could to try and engage that person and entertain them. I think you can stream on a budget. I think it's getting harder and harder as time goes on because there's more higher tech things out there. More and more streamers are utilizing that. There's more and more competition. There's more people streaming now than ever. I think there's like more people streaming nowadays than there are watching on Twitch or something crazy like that, or like half as many at least, or something. So there's a lot of competition. Someone was saying to me today, because I always say audio is more important than video on a stream. A lot of people, including yourself, GarbageEGirl, a lot of people don't stream with webcam, and that's fine. You don't need a webcam for a stream, but you do need audio. And
Yes.
someone on my stream was saying today, yeah, but like, do you think I could stream without any audio or webcam and people would watch? And my answer to that is like, you'd have to do something really special to get people to watch that. Because they're just watching gameplay at that point. Like, how are you going to engage people and draw people in to watch that? But a cheap webcam, cheap mic, it's doable. I think you can stream on a budget. I don't think you should spend lots of money on your stream until you're absolutely sure that that's something you want to spend money on. Because you don't... Money to, like, expensive objects don't make a stream. You make a stream. They can help, but you make a stream.
You think about something like Twitch plays Pokemon. Obviously, this is a very outlier
That was the example that I gave earlier. Yeah.
That's an outlier example. But yeah, I mean, that's something very special that's being streamed. It might seem like, well, that's a robot. Someone made that robot. Someone made that stream. That is someone's project that they put out there. You definitely can have something, yeah. But no, I think you're probably the best person to ask about this, Dan. I was definitely more interested in your answer than mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Carly, you didn't, as far as I know, you didn't spend loads and loads of money when you started streaming, right? You just used the equipment you already had.
Yeah, so my answer would be, yeah, you actually don't need to worry too much about getting equipment at all. So the mic I'm using, I already had. The internet's good because I live in a city. That is an important part of it, is your upload.
Yeah.
But definitely, I haven't bothered with a webcam yet. When I do, it will be an expensive one, so it's way off in the future. But definitely when you're starting out, don't worry about that. Like, mics actually aren't that hard to come by. Like, good quality mics, you could probably get away with like 30, 40 quid. Like, it's not, impossible.
Yeah, you sound great.
Thank you.
Do your research.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Okay, a couple more questions. In fact, a couple that have come in during the show. Tim Spence asks, this is a really hard one.
Ooh.
What is the most disappointing game you've ever played? Does anyone have like an obvious standout answer for that one?
Fable 3.
Oh, Fable 3. Wow, that was
Fable
instant
3.
answer.
Yes, well, Fable 2 is one of my favorite games ever. So when Fable 3 came out, I was so hype. And obviously, as I'm going through it, I'm comparing it to Fable 2. And yeah, like the story fell flat. The gameplay mechanics weren't as... I just wasn't as into it. So when your expectations are set that high, I felt it. I felt it hard. Like, Fable 3 was a flop for me.
So...
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. So when I was a kid, we used to just me and my sister used to just play games that my dad brought home for us on this little like those white PCs that were like really thick, and like if you flick the monitor it'd make noise, like that kind of era, that kind of technology. Anyway, one day he comes back with this game called Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, and I played so much of that game. It's like Zoo Tycoon or like a zoo game, except with dinosaurs, and it's incredible, and I love it. And it's like what I have so many fond memories related to that game. And then Jurassic Park sort of did the reboot with Jurassic World, and a game called Jurassic World Evolution was announced, and I assumed it would be Jurassic Park Operation Genesis 2 or something to that vein. And it's a park builder. It's not the same. It's not good. It's there's just a huge lack of creative ability, and it's just soulless. And I was so disappointed. Like I paid full price for that game, and it didn't live up to the hype at all. And I might be looking at it through nostalgia glasses, but disappointment. Yeah.
These are really good, quick answers from you two. Toby, have you come up with anything? I'm struggling.
I'm struggling. I don't want to confuse games that I'm disappointed in with
games that are
bad. They're bad. The reason that I'm
Yeah.
disappointed is because I like that franchise and I like that thing, and I'm going to go into the world of Pokemon here. So, like, here's the tea, right? But, like...
Oh, no.
I
Some
think...
gossip here. BirdKeeperToby hates Pokemon. BirdKeeperToby hates Pokemon. Confirmed.
Podcone, I was disappointed because I wasn't very good. But that wasn't really Pokemon's fault. That was mine. Okay. I like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon more than Pokemon Sun and Moon. They're the same game, but better. But in many ways, that's why I was disappointed. Because I played it, and I played the same game, but a little bit better, and I just thought, I've already played this, and the dialogue, there wasn't a lot of the issues that I had with Sun and Moon, some of them got resolved, but not all of them, and, like, certainly the very dialogue-heavy, dialogue-centric games that kind of, for me, define that generation of Pokemon that's the reason I didn't like it as much as other generations. I think that's probably it. So I like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon more than Sun and Moon, but Sun and Moon brought enough new to the table at the time that I was like, this is great. When Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon came out, I was like, I'm playing through the same thing again, the same thing again, the same thing again. And then there's this little chunk at the end that's really exciting. And so I think maybe that's what springs to mind. What about you?
So I'm going to go with the most recent game that I think I'm particularly disappointed by. Because I'm sure I've been disappointed by a lot of games in my time. And when I say recent, I'm actually talking like a year ago now. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say Kingdom Hearts 3.
Ooh.
And I'm going to say Kingdom Hearts 3, and it might not even be the game's fault. It might be my fault for actually growing up and understanding things better. But when I was young, I loved Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2. I played so many of the side games. Too many of the side games. And I started playing Kingdom Hearts 3, and there was just something not quite right about it. Most of the gameplay was spamming the triangle button to use special abilities. And it's like theme park rides and stuff, which is like cheating your way through the game, essentially. That's what it felt like. It didn't feel like actual combat. The cutscenes were really weird because character 1 would say sentence. Then character 2 would reply with sentence. Oh no, character 1. And it's clearly something lost in translation there between Japan and America. Even though they were speaking in English, I don't know whether it's something to do with the pace of them speaking in Japanese that went wrong. I was very disappointed with Kingdom Hearts 3. And to top things off, my PlayStation 4 broke last year as I was finally starting to get my way through it. Because I wanted to just get through the story and finish the game. And I was maybe like a third of the way through when PlayStation 4 broke. And I was trying to fix it. And in fixing it, I somehow corrupted my Kingdom Hearts 3 game file.
No.
And now if I want to complete it, I have to start from scratch. I was like 15 hours in, 10 hours in. It's just not gonna happen. I'm done with that game now. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people love Kingdom Hearts. I used to, but something about Kingdom Hearts 3 just did not work for me.
So that's a tough question. It's a good question, though.
Very good question.
Thank you, Tim. Final question we have at the moment is X Radley asks, do you see Microsoft developing a console after this gen?
Ooh.
Now, I think that's very difficult to answer before we see this gen's announcement and everything. But I feel like if things keep going the way they're going, Microsoft's next console will be a PC.
Yeah.
And I think it should be.
Yeah. It's not looking good for them.
I'm surprised we're getting a console this gen. But the fact that they're doing one this gen makes me think, I guess they are just going to keep going forever then with whatever, and that's for an audience. But I'm surprised they're doing one this gen. But maybe that's just because I've personally fallen out of love with the Xbox console.
Is this console a PC though? I feel like we need to wait for this announcement because maybe it's not even a console anymore. Maybe it's just an add-on to your PC or a PC.
Is it called Project
Steambox?
Project X or something? X Series.
Scarlet.
Project Scarlet X Series. I don't even know what
Was
it's
Scarlet
called.
its old name? I'm a little out of the loop here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't even know. This console's either going to be the nail in the coffin or the revival. It has to be one or the other. There is no other option. They have to do
Microsoft
really good,
are a
I think,
big
to come
company.
back.
Microsoft are a big company.
Microsoft is a software company at this point.
Yeah.
They don't have any. If the Xbox doesn't work out, it's not going to be the end of the world for them,
No,
really, is it?
Oh, no,
I mean, they have the entire world paying for Windows licenses. They're fine. But yeah, I mean, the console market's always been famously difficult to get into and thrive, and the fact that Sony's done it so well in only 4 generations is very impressive. But yeah, it might be time for Microsoft to leave. I don't know.
Leave.
Is that Sony? I mean, there's always been these questions about other companies getting into the games console market. Like when is Apple going to do it? Is that a thing that's actually going to happen?
Is the KFC console real? Because I read an article about that, and I don't know if it's real or not.
When's Sega getting back in?
Where's Atari? We need them.
Wasn't that an April Fool's joke, the KFC thing?
I don't know, because it wasn't on April, was it? I don't think it... Wait, I'm looking it up.
I don't remember. But like the gaming market is going to get harder and harder to get into as Sony have clearly, at least for this generation, got it down, right? At least for the PS4, now going into the PS5. There was so much going right for Sony. How does a new company get into the gaming market?
I mean, we saw Google trying a couple months ago. I mean...
Sorry.
Oh, the Stadia. Oh, bless their sweet cotton socks. They tried. Oh no.
I mean, maybe cloud gaming is just the future, though. I mean, Stadia, again, it feels like it's before its time at the moment. But like maybe after this generation of consoles, maybe it is just the case that you can play anything on your phone and it's going to look just as good because our internet's so good that we can cloud game everything.
It really feels like Nintendo, of all people, and I remember being in school and being laughed at for being a Nintendo fanboy in comparison to like the PlayStation and the Xbox. It really feels like they're going to keep going forever. Because they're just going to keep on doing wacky, out-of-the-box ideas, and sometimes it'll work, and sometimes it won't.
I mean, there's a reason Nintendo are the oldest players in the game at the moment.
If they can just have a hit every decade, they'll be fine. Like, I know it got rough there with the Wii U, but then they were like, let's repackage it and turn it into the Nintendo Switch. Cool. But, like, PlayStation, honestly, the day they start selling those licenses to those first-party titles and saying they can go on PC, PlayStation's done. That's it. That's exactly what happened to Xbox.
Well, we've been talking about PlayStation and exclusives and how Xbox hasn't had any. I just want to look at the Nintendo Switch for a second. Breath of the Wild. Okay, not an exclusive. Fair enough. Mario Odyssey. Astral Chain. Smash Bros. Ultimate. Sword and Shield.
Mario Kart.
Yeah. Again, not an exclusive, but I mean the deluxe version, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
Luigi's Mansion 3.
Mario Odyssey, Rabbids, Mario vs. Rabbids.
Mario Rabbids, yeah. I mean, there are a lot of good exclusive games on the Switch, and not only that, but for me, games that are on the Switch and other consoles, I'd rather have it on my Switch because I can play it.
And like, with a lot of them, you straight up could not port them. Like, I mean, let's take Mario Kart for example. Yeah, or Splatoon.
Yeah.
Like you can't port that kind of thing. It has to be played on a Switch. Like, that's the only
right. It's never gonna have that same feeling playing it on another console. Whereas it's very easy to take other games and port them to the Switch. Like Skyrim, natural fit, totally makes sense, totally works.
Yeah.
And everyone's favorite, Animal Crossing.
Yeah. Can't forget Animal Crossing.
The only thing that I'll say doesn't feel like it works very well on Switch tends to be first-person shooters or third-person shooters. Like I feel like Fortnite does not.
It's not
a good Switch game make.
I've never played Overwatch on Switch. It's always intrigued me because I know they have gyro controls, which I feel like might add stuff to it. But why bother on Switch when it's on PC? Shooting's so much easier with a mouse.
We've had one last question come in. I want to answer this, and then I'm actually gonna prevent more from coming in. But Alfie asks, if you could remaster any game, what would it be? So that specifically says remaster. So remaster means gameplay doesn't change, just the graphics and everything changes. So
Fable 2 PC. Go.
Fable 2 PC. Instant answer from Carly there. Why Fable 2?
Again, it's just one of my favorite games, and the fact that that's the one that's non-PC kills me inside. I want to play it so much, but going back to it on PS2, I don't know, I don't enjoy it as much. I really want it to be on PC, like, so badly.
Phoebe?
I don't know. I want to say platinum, but I feel like that's easy. I mean, everyone is asking for Diamond Pearl remakes at this point. I just want platinum. I want to see the world, how it would be in the same engine as we have for Sword and Shield. Imagine how it would look. Oh, it would be great. Yeah, I could probably come up with a more creative answer if you gave me time, but yeah, platinum. Oof.
Toby?
It's been 15 years. Every E3, I'm like, where's the announcement? Where's the announcement for Time Splitters Future Perfect? Brought into the modern age. If anyone listening to this podcast knows Time Splitters, you already know why that's like the thing before Pokemon, before anything. Top of my brain.
But do you want a remake or a remaster for Time
Splitters? I don't mind. Like, I would honestly.
The remaster means gameplay doesn't change. It's literally the same game, just new graphics.
It would. No, remaster. Add some kind of online. Can we add an online here? Can we add that caveat?
Yeah, that's allowed. I'll allow that.
I want that fun, but that's just
alright, great. Well, I thought you were going to steal mine, Toby, because mine is so easy. Halo 3.
Halo 3 doesn't need a remaster.
It doesn't, but I want one.
It looks beautiful.
I don't need the gameplay to change. I don't want a Halo 3 remake, but I'd love a fresh coat of paint on it. That's all.
Fair enough.
Anyways, that is going to be all of our questions. That is going to be pretty much the end of the podcast. So now, last thing is to go through each of you and plug your stuff.
Oh, no.
So, Toby, where can these lovely people find you?
I am BirdKeeperToby, and if you like Pokemon, I've got a YouTube channel all about that. I just talk about that. So youtube.com/BirdKeeperToby and all other relevant socials.
Okay. Any website /BirdKeeperToby, including TikTok?
Yes, actually. Yes, actually.
Phoebe, where and when can they find you?
I also have a TikTok. I have one whole video on it. But yeah, if there's someone called TheLastShaymin, it is almost certainly me. Except on one specific website, there is someone that has my username, and I don't appreciate it. But like everything else, it is me. Yeah, I'm most active on my Twitter. Sometimes if I have a new artwork thing, it'll go up on my Instagram. I occasionally upload to YouTube, and of course I stream when I'm meant to be, sometimes, depending on how I'm feeling. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and if you want to see any of TheLastShaymin's wonderful emotes, well, if anyone watching live on Twitch right now would like to spam some of the emotes that are her own and ones that she's made for Toby and myself, that'd be cool. And Carly, GarbageEGirl, where can everyone find you and when?
Hi, I'll be on Twitch. I do have a Twitter, but I'll sort that out another time. But if you want low skill gameplay, low IQ, chill time, find me on GarbageEGirl.
That's right, GarbageEGirl on Twitch. And as with everyone else, I'm sure somebody in Twitch chat live right now will go ahead and spam that link. So, and lastly, myself, obviously, Falcone Hosts. You can find me anywhere you want on the internet, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, even TikTok, at /Falcone Hosts. This podcast was live on twitch.tv/Falcone Hosts. But if you're watching it on demand on YouTube or wherever, listening to it on iTunes, Spotify, then fantastic. This will be up every single week, hopefully moving forward from this time. So I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next week.